All right, and Katie Mox is joining us for Super Bowl props and locks with Katie Mox. It has an amazing ring to it. Super Bowl 57, Katie, features two MVP finalists in Jalen Hurts. We just saw his whole story there, and then Pat Mahomes, who of course has been to the Super Bowl and won one before. Katie, give us your top QB prop for the Super Bowl.
So my top QB prop, and this has nothing to do with the fact that my 49ers just lost that last weekend and broke my heart, but I am taking Jalen Hurts under 241.5 passing yards. It's at minus 117. So despite blowing out both opponents in the postseason so far, Jalen Hurts hasn't even cracked 200 passing yards in either of those games, let alone coming close to 241. In fact, he's only gone over this total in 5 games all season long, and those were against the Bears, Titans, Steelers, Vikings, and the Commanders, mostly bottom of the league secondaries. Okay, maybe not necessarily the Commanders. But KC's pass defense, they've had their issues, but they really finished the season middle of the pack, ranking 16th in dropback EPA and 12th in dropback success rate. And we do know that the Eagles love to run the ball. I would even say Philly is at their best when their offense is run heavy. The Birds average over 30 rush attempts per game and about 150 yards on the ground. I like Philly to lean on this ground game again and Hurts to go under.
Yeah, Katie, I was thinking about you when I was watching the NFC title game. We know you love your Niners. All right, you were just talking about the Eagles run game. We're going to talk about your top running back prop for the Super Bowl, but you're actually going to go with a guy from KC's rookie class for this one, Katie.
I am. Give me Pacheco over 49.5 rushing yards. This seems too low for Pacheco. He averaged 61.4 yards per game during that Chiefs 7-game win streak. Philly has allowed opponents to average nearly 5 yards per catch to their primary running back over the last 6 games. To their opponent's primary running back over the last 6 games. Look, the Eagles, they rank 21st in rush defense DVOA, 24th in yards per rush allowed, which means there's gonna be some holes. 42% of Pacheco's carries and 46% of his yardage came from between guards, particularly through the left middle. And look, Pacheco logged a majority of snap share in the AFC Championship with 15 total touches. 10 of those were carries. So the volume is going to be there. I really like him to sail over this yardage fairly easily.
All right, and Katie, we're talking about wide receivers. You know, KC has been a little bit banged up at the wideout position. So what's your play on this one?
I'm going to take Devonta Smith under 4.5 receptions. Is that plus money? Get it at plus 118 on Caesars. And look, minus last week. Smith has actually averaged over 5 receptions in 7 straight games. However, the argument can be made that a bulk of that had to do with Minshew favoring Smith over Brown. He got a majority of the targets during that time, including 2 of Smith's 2 highest target totals. That said, I do think that he resumes his more wide receiver 2 role this next weekend to Brown. And if that is the case, the Chiefs have been pretty solid against wide receiver 2s, ranking number 10 there. And let's not forget, Smith also failed to catch 6 passes in 4 consecutive games before Hurts was injured. In big games, you trust your big guys, and I'm not sure that Smith is him. I like him under the 4.5 receptions, and I love that we're getting this at plus money.
Moving along to a tight end prop. I feel like we can't talk about tight ends, of course, without talking about one of Patrick Mahomes' favorite targets, Travis Kelce. The dude's like double covered in the AFC title game, still making huge plays. Katie, it's going to be hard for the Eagles and their defense to stop Kelce.
Absolutely, Jacqueline. Absolutely. I like Kelce for an anytime touchdown. That's at minus 109. But if you're looking for a little more value, you can also take him for the first Kansas City player to score a touchdown, and that's at plus 300. Look, Kelce had a banner year, a career high of 12 touchdowns during the regular season. He's had 3 touchdowns in the playoffs so far. In fact, no pass catcher has had more red zone opportunities than Kelce this season at 38. The runner-up is Stephon Diggs, and he only had 25. Also, the storyline I like here, Mahomes and Kelce have combined for 13 postseason touchdowns, which are too short of the all-time record held by Tom Brady and Gronk, who have 15. So you know they're going to be playing to that. I like Kelce to get a touchdown, and I would not be surprised if he's the first player on Kansas City to get a touchdown. At plus 300, it's worth a sprinkle.
Kelce with the most catches by a tight end in playoff history. All right, moving along to the top defensive prop for the Super Bowl. We know we got the Eagles. Their defense ranks #1 overall, according to PFF. So what you got for us, Katie?
Yeah, I'm going to take Chris Jones under 3.5 tackles and assists. It's at -125. And you just kind of touched on it right there. These two teams have been leading the league in NFL sacks this season. Both of them are in the Super Bowl, so it should be a really great defensive battle. However, look, Jones had a really great game in the AFC Championship game. He sacked Joe Burrow twice, but the Eagles have a better O-line than Cincy does, okay? One of the big things about Cincy all season has been the holes in their O-line. Jones is a very versatile defender. You can pretty much line him up anywhere, which means the Chiefs are likely going to want to avoid having him lined up against Lane Johnson. I mean, I know I would. I like him to record a sack. You can't find that on Caesars right now. And I do think that with Hurts kind of moving around, he's probably good for one sack. But again, if you're going to move him around, you're going to have him avoiding Lane Johnson. I do think this is a little bit high for him. He did have 4 tackles and assists in the AFC Championship game, but he only had 2 versus Jacksonville. Again, I think he gets 1 sack. If you can find him to record a sack, I would take that, but I do like him under the total for the tackles and assists.
And Katie, the only other bigger Niners fan that I know of other than yourself is your sidekick, your dog Edith. So I got to know, who is she rooting for in the Super Bowl? What side is she taking?
Oh, you know she's on the dogs, Jacqueline. You know she's on the dogs. She's like Chiefs money line. First of all, the fact that you could get Patrick Mahomes, one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. All right, I know it's early to say he needs to win one more Super Bowl, but let's just look at how he's performed this season. Nobody is more talented than him at the position as it stands right now. You're getting him as an underdog. You're getting him at plus money. We love the Chiefs in this one. We're taking the Chiefs money line, and we're also leaning under the total. The last 4 Super Bowls have gone under the total, and 50.5 seems high to me. I would wait to bet this, though, Jacqueline, until closer to game time, because we do know the public loves an over, and they're going to be betting this thing up all week long. It might even get up to 51, 52, and then when you see it at its highest, bet the under.
All right, that is Katie Mox joining us here on HQ for her top player props and locks. Also, Katie, we'll be chatting with you next week, too, for your picks. Let's recap all of Katie's picks from what she likes so far. She likes Jalen Hurts under 241.5 passing yards, Pacheco over 49.5 rushing yards, Devonta Smith under 4.5 receiving yards. Also, she likes Travis Kelce anytime touchdown and first touchdown scorer. And then she likes Chris Jones under 3.5 tackles. Check out Tommy Tran. He's going to be in Phoenix, and we got you covered for your Super Bowl. All things you got to know leading up to the big game. We got you covered here on HQ. Tommy Tran is going to be live from Phoenix all week long, leading up to the big game.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.